All right, let's
Go
do
ahead
it.
and talk some shit, man. I'm just get my mind right. What's good, everybody? We back. A few things that went on past 2 weeks. Minka is a Dolphin again. Ramsey is a Steeler. And the Cowboys still think they got a chance to make it to the NFC Championship. You know?
Hey, don't forget Jair,
Can we
man.
just skip
Jair
that
on
part,
the Ravens
man?
too,
Can we just
man.
skip it,
Did you
please?
talk about it?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
There's a few things. But we can start. We can start with Jair on the Ravens. How do you like that addition, and what's Lamar's chances now as far as making a push, man, to change his number to number one? Because they say once he win a Super Bowl, he changed his number to number one, man. So how y'all like this addition?
Let him win one first.
Yeah, he definitely
I
got.
wouldn't even come out saying no shit like that until I won one.
He definitely got to win one first, but I love the addition of Jair. I think he's going to work perfectly with our defense, what the scheme looks like. It definitely this is like a Raven move where it's like, okay, they going all in. It's like an all in move to me. I feel like
It definitely is.
It was a
Definitely
need
is.
for sure, especially losing some guys in the offseason. So I love it. I love it, bro. I think our secondary is going to be one of the best in the league. And it's just a great fit and all. And then, Lamar, this is man's, man. It's his guy from Louisville, so he get to be with his bro,
Yeah.
make him happy, So, again, we all know what it is with the Ravens. Regular season, we gonna go crazy, but it's that playoffs, man. That's what really matters. So, hopefully everybody's healthy. That's the main thing with Jair. You gotta just stay healthy. But if you do, man, we should be up, man, for sure.
Oh, Jair went to Louisville?
Yeah.
Man, play with him.
Yeah, with Lamar.
I don't know why he went somewhere else.
But yeah, I like it too. I mean, what's not to like? We all know how good Jair Alexander is when he's on the field, and I don't think that he's had a lot of injuries in his career, and he's been able to come back and be just as good. So I don't really think that he's gonna be washed up because of his injury issues. He's still young. I'm a believer in getting guys in positions to succeed, and I think you allow Marlon Humphrey to just play nickel. I think that's going to do wonders, and I think Wiggins is going to take a step up. He's got all the athleticism, all the ability, and if you look back at that historic defense, not last year but the year before that from the Ravens, I mean, this team has more talent, so I don't see why you wouldn't be super high on this defense to get back to what it was back then. And
it helps you in the red zone too.
Yeah, I just think the offense is still a question mark. You didn't address the wide receiver one position, and I think you had a historic defense when you went up against the Chiefs and you lost. So I think it's going to be on Lamar. At the end of the day, it's going to be on Lamar to not make dumb mistakes in the playoffs. And I believe that if he does that, then they can win the Super Bowl because he's that talented.
I will say, though, offensively, I think our guys is a little bit more polished from, that 2023 year, especially, guys like Rashad Bateman. He was in injuries that year. And then adding Derrick Henry, I think, is another good addition. And then guys like Lee, I think he's going to have a big step this year as well.
Bateman stepping up, dog. I think he'd be wide receiver one for real. He's
and then Zay
up,
had a
bro. He really doing good. Zay cool, you know what I'm saying? Cool little slot joint you can use. But Rashad Bateman, he look like he can be that guy now.
Then you got Hopkins in the red zone.
They got Hopkins, and we added Hopkins. That's right. We did add Hopkins. So I mean,
in a red shirt because they don't need to be playing. But Rashad Bateman, bro, he's so good though. Like I like what I saw from him last year. I've been waiting on it.
Yeah.
My God, them injuries and he just ain't been playing well for the past couple of years. But Rashad Bateman's finally looking like a guy.
Maybe Rashad Bateman to show up so y'all can start crying about Lamar having no receivers.
I
mean, and shitting on Zay Flowers like he can't play.
Zay Flowers can play, man. I don't like how everybody shitting on Zay Flowers.
I don't understand the Zay Flowers hate. I really don't.
He's not a number one receiver, though.
Damn.
He can ball, but he ain't a number one receiver, and that's what the Ravens using him as.
I think he can be T.Y. I said it before. I think he can be T.Y. Hilton.
Well,
mind you,
that ain't that good because he fell off a cliff.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Retired. Once Luck retired, T.Y. Hilton.
We talking about prime T.Y.
Yes.
And prime T.Y. success is only good because of Andrew Luck.
Well, how many guys can you say that about?
Not that. No.
So you're saying T.Y. was only good because Andrew Luck?
If you look at his numbers, once Luck retired, fell off a cliff.
Watch this, Brandon.
T.Y. held the number 2.
Who do they have a quarterback?
That's my point. So if you do a quarterback to put up your points
now.
I mean, to be fair though, I think
the coach might have one of the worst quarterback circle since Andrew Luck retired, dog. It's been terrible, bro. They tried Matt Ryan out. They tried Phillip Rivers out.
Phil was the beast. I don't know what you're talking about. Phil was nice. Yeah, it was nice.
Phil Rivers was not nice on the Colts.
I was like, what?
He was nice on the Chargers.
You got the last of Phillip Rivers. He was mad.
He was good.
Nah, he was serviceable for them, though.
He was good. He was a backup level quarterback or like a bottom 10.
Y'all looking at stats, bro. He was actually really good, bro. He was actually really good.
What really good is crazy for Phillip Rivers.
He was a statue, but he was really good.
I'm with you,
Carson Wentz had the most terrible 27-6 season I've ever seen because he was terrible for us.
Carson Wentz had an MVP.
He was awful.
No, I agree. Carson Wentz was trash.
He was awful. That 27-6 was misleading because he was awful.
Well,
I don't care.
Was that when Steichen was there or no?
Yes. No. It's Frank Reich. It's trash coaching ass. Trash coaching ass. But back to Zay Flowers though. Mind you, he's about to be.
You know Zach played for that team, Brandon, that we went to school with?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Remind you, Zay Flowers is going into his third year. Everybody can't be Puka Nacua and just start like going crazy and be elite right off the bat.
Brandon, he had 1,000 yards and he missed 4 games last year.
He absolutely
I'm not tripping off of the stats, bro. I'm talking about how he's used. So if you look at Zay Flowers, bro, my whole problem with him, once defenses account for him as a number 1 receiver, no yards, 17 yards, 20 yards, can't go across the middle, getting jammed up. Versus when you look at other teams with true number 1 receivers, Jamar Chase, nothing's going to stop him getting across the middle to help out the intermediate one. Justin Jefferson, nothing's going to stop him. AJ Brown, nothing's going to stop these guys from getting across to the middle to help aid and assist the intermediate game. That's why Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely look as good as they do, because to fill the void of what Hollywood is too little to do, they use their tight ends to do it, versus everybody else has great outside receivers that can do it.
This is the problem with the Ravens.
Flowers good though? Is Zay Flowers good? Yes. As a slot receiver, as a receiver 2 or 3, yes, he's phenomenal. But when you make him your primary focal point of my passing attack, and he can't go across the middle,
that's I will argue Zay Flowers. I will argue Zay Flowers yak. Zay Flowers route running with a quarterback who could have better timing. I'm just being honest. He's $1,200 a season. I've said this before. He's $1,200 a season.
No, don't do that. Lamar uses every bit of. He uses every bit
of Zay Flowers.
Y'all don't watch. All right, bro. We just talk about the film because when Lamar does it, a lot of times Zay Flowers gets his passes off Lamar's ability to improvise, and then Zay be open.
And Zay be
kind of like Hines Ward. They have Big Ben use Hines Ward.
Let's keep it a beat.
Yeah,
Zay
a lot of times with
some dumbass routes. We've used fucking
squealing around.
He cut too much, man.
A lot of times early too, where Lamar want to throw him the ball, he jammed up, he pressed up.
Exactly.
What about those times? What about those times?
The Ravens have to stop trying to use number 2 and number 3 wide receiver to try to make the number 1. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. He's an MVP level quarterback, but he doesn't have that quality like the Joe Burrows, Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady's to elevate number 3 guys to number 1. He needs a number 1 guy. He's a great quarterback.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of y'all saying that. I will argue Lamar Jackson has had the better team than Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, all 3 of them guys the last 2 seasons. Yo, stop fucking caping for Lamar. I don't want to be a Lamar hater, but now y'all starting to irritate me, dog.
I might not.
He got everything else. Okay, his receivers ain't elite, but his tight ends are. Get it done.
No, they not. Early. His tight ends not.
Mark Andrews still top 7, Bama.
Tight ends not elite.
Likely can be top 10.
He's the number 8 tight end in the entire NFL. Isaiah Likely is point blank. Don't do that.
I see what y'all saying.
That's all potential. That's all potential.
Here's the thing, though. Y'all keep wanting to give him everybody else's top receivers. Would it also give them same guys? Lamar's O-line, Lamar's running game, Lamar's defense. Like, don't do that. Lamar's coaching staff. And why is it Lamar coaching staff? Because they make sure that they make sure everything.
He didn't get a quick game until this year. He didn't get a quick game. So you talking about giving Lamar coaching staff? They didn't utilize a quick game until this year. Once they utilize the quick game, once they utilize Greg Roman, once they utilize the quick game, you see Lamar Jackson went over 4,000 yards passing, look way more sufficient in the passing.
That's cool. That's cool. So I tell you this then.
Also, too, you want to holler, get in the O-line, bro. A lot of them quarterbacks cannot extend plays to the extent of what Lamar Jackson can. So y'all sit here.
So we're gonna say
no.
Hey dog, that O-line was not good. That O-line was not good. That O-line was not good. You do not watch film if you think that O-line was good. It was
early. So this is
running game wise, yes. The passing game,
it was not bad.
It wasn't good either though.
Against the Eagles, vividly against the Eagles.
So then what is Joe Burrow line?
He outrun Jalen Carter, and then he take off running for 40 yards. On the stat sheet, it's going to look like the O-line did good blocking. But no, anybody with eyes can see if you don't have Lamar Jackson, bro, that play does not work.
So then what does he do with Joe Burrow's line?
Same thing he's doing right now with the Ravens O-line.
Yeah.
The Ravens
We believe there's nobody to go against this. We go stand on this.
Because Lamar Jackson's athleticism is next to none in the NFL.
Dude, he had the best.
With Joe Burrow's O-line, Lamar still.
Stop. I'm gonna tell you exactly what he's gonna do.
Putting Joe Burrow on his
He's gonna be Michael Vick in the early 2000s. He might go for 2,000 yards
rushing. I agree.
He's gonna do the same thing he did just prior to this season. He's gonna back up 20 yards, drop back 20 yards, and just scramble around the field, find somebody open.
Marley, that's
what he would have to do.
How did Joe Burrow elevate his receiving core when he's had elite receivers his whole career? He's never
look. Hold on. 1 second.
Y'all being weird.
Hey, and add on top of that,
y'all not finna disrespect Joe Burrow.
I'm not disrespecting Joe Burrow.
I'm not trying to be on a Joe Burrow. I ain't trying to be on a Lamar podcast. I see every nigga in here don't have no opinion.
F-Dot, though, check me out, though. F-Dot. In the 2020 draft, Michael, F-Dot, instead of getting Penei Sewell, he went and got Jamar Chase because he wanted a weapon over a protection. So y'all want to sit there and be like, oh, what about the O-line? He chose to sacrifice his O-line to get what? A premier weapon in Jamar Chase. If Lamar had the luxury, if Lamar had that luxury to get CeeDee Lamb instead of Hollywood Brown, bro, come on, bro. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, this getting nasty, but we disrespect Joe Burrow.
Wait, hold on.
No, I'm gonna say this, dog. What we've done for Lamar,
I'm not disrespecting Joe Burrow, but what I'm saying, bro, y'all is not finna act like them elite. Them are elite tier weapons.
Crazy about Joe B.
Them is elite tier weapons to where if you got those type of weapons, I would take the lesser O-line because I'm still going to be able to get the ball out.
Shut the fuck.
I'm still going to be able to get the ball out. Jamar Chase, you can just throw him the ball and he takes it 80, 90 yards.
You just saying shit. Hey, Bama, let me ask some, Brandon. Let me ask some, Brandon. How do we like Joe Burrow on that 2023 Lamar Ravens team with the number one defense and likely breakout season?
And 2019
we're not doing no hypotheticals. That's fan shit. We're not doing no hypotheticals. That's fan shit. We're going off of what they do. Y'all need to sit up here and play Madden. That's fan shit. You don't watch the game, bro, because if you watch the game, you can sit there and say, hey, bro, me being able just to dump it out to a receiver in a quick screen and he breaks 3-4 tackles is way more valuable than a receiver being 150 pounds soaking wet, bro. You was lying to say that you could use Zay Flowers and Jamar Chase in the same way.
What you basically saying, listen, let me tell you something. What you basically saying by saying we don't do hypotheticals, what you basically doing is we doing instrumentals. We doing an instrumental podcast. We not doing no cussing, none of that shit. Come on, man. We having fun. Don't take away hypotheticals. Hypotheticals are fun.
No, they're not.
They just support nasty narratives.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They're very fun.
No, they're not.
Can I clarify something? Because I know we got two Joe Burrow guys here. We got B and we're not B and Jalen are Joe Burrow guys, and we're not trying to trash Joe Burrow. All we're saying is that
I try to say everything but Lamar Jackson be better.
Early, stop interrupting everybody and just hold on 1 second. The point is that when you think of Joe Burrow, yes, what he does is incredible. I'm sorry, Early, but like what he does is incredible, right? And there's a certain level of elevation that he has, but he does have a top 2, top 1 receiving duo. And yes, T. Higgins wasn't there for a majority of the season, understood. But what Jamar did last year, the ability that he was able to get open and also the yak everything, that was one of the best seasons we've seen in the last couple of years by a receiver. So my point is this: if you're Joe Burrow and you're as good as we think he is, then
you're not necessarily completely elevating what you have. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. And understood, it was a historic year. But when I look at what Jamar Chase did and I look at what T. Higgins is, I don't necessarily think it's super elevation. And I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that Lamar struggles in when it comes to the intermediate play. Yes, that's his worst part of his game. But I think we also, and this isn't caping for the man, but we also have to recognize that the Ravens, up until last year, did not utilize the intermediate passing game whatsoever. And when you don't develop your quarterback to throw in the pocket and have intermediate play going, and you say, okay, bro, here you go, just do it. Like, that's not necessarily going to work either. But I will stand on the fact that Lamar, he has to stop making boneheaded plays. And a big part of that is the fact that he's going off script so often. That was the best off script season of all time, in my opinion. Like, what he was doing in the regular season was bar none. And I'm putting there with Mahomes and Brett Favre. But there's a certain level that you can't do that in the playoffs all the time. It's going to lead to mistakes. So we have to hold him accountable, because Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't make mistakes, should win the Super Bowl. He's that talented.
Lamar's biggest issue is honestly clutchness. When you see it in high pressure games, even in the regular season, sometimes you saw the Eagles game, he's just missing some throws when he normally can make those throws. It's easy to win. It's easy to win when everything's going well for you. But like when the chips are down and you looking like an underdog and things just ain't going right, receivers are dropping passes. You see Lamar like missing throws that he normally makes, like easy throws, layup throws that he usually makes, especially in the intermediate part of the field. When Lamar gets pressured, he's not as accurate as he usually is. So I think Lamar's was really handcuffing himself is his mental state. Comeback. Like when the chips are down and like, well, he got to put that superhero cape on. I understand he has to put that superhero cape on a lot, but you've seen guys like Patrick Mahomes constantly do it time and time again. That's what separates Mahomes and him. You've seen Joe Burrow do it, when the chips are down, going in the Arrowhead the last couple of years and been able to beat Patrick Mahomes. So Lamar, to really get to that next level and be that godlike player that we all know he can be, and that godlike player that can win a Super Bowl and potentially be like, probably the greatest quarterback of all time, when it's all said and done, he really has to get his mental state together. I like that he's like a team leadership guy. He's a field general. He's always we instead of me. He doesn't sit there and like, like blame other, like point the finger. He takes all the blame. So he really got to elevate himself, his mental state to like get to where he want to be. That's all it is. Like, that's the biggest issue in this game.
They're better pocket quarterbacks than him, and that's the thing. Yeah. Mahomes, he can make plays. He's a very good pocket quarterback as well. Joe Burrow, a very good pocket quarterback, so that allows them to make more plays. You see every single season in the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes getting 15, 20-yard runs, and he's not that athletic because he can make the plays in the pocket, and then he only has a certain amount of plays where he's going off script. And that's what makes it good. If you're going off script every single time against the best defenses in the league, you're bound to make mistakes. But I think Lamar can do it. Lamar's proven every single season in his career, he's improved as a pocket passer. Now, is he up to the level of Mahomes, Burrow, even Allen? No, but I don't see him capping out now. I really don't.
I think he can be. He got a quick game.
No, he can. Yeah, but
I think this is the biggest leap he made just from having a quick. I don't think people understand. Like, quick game isn't always just for pressure situations. It's also to help quarterbacks get rhythm and keep rhythm. So Lamar getting that is not a coincidence that his completion percentage went up and his intermediate game looked a lot well because they were able to help him establish a lot better rhythm. So even Patrick Mahomes even said he didn't learn the playbook until 2 years ago?
His third season or
something like that. Something like that. He said it was crazy. So it's like it's not too far-fetched to think that because all passing is at this point is just process. How fast can you process and diagnose the defense? So at this point, if Lamar Jackson, especially with the development of showing him, hey, this is where to get rid of the ball. This is how quick. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to go like this. It's not too far-fetched to say he can improve between the ears in order to be a way more competent. And then I think that's going to also result in him running the ball a lot less. And now we're going to be able to talk about him in them pass talks now, because that's the only reason a lot of people don't want to put Lamar Jackson in passing talks. It's just because how elite of a rusher he is. Like, that's the only glaring thing. But if you look at some of the passes Lamar Jackson and dropped, He got touch. He's got amazing touch. You just don't want to put it up on there because
it is inconsistent though. A little bit. He's accurate.
It's not as pretty. It's some of them are wobbly, but I'm not gonna lie. Lamar Jackson, he get the ball to where
he can, of course. I just think his release is the only thing that I question because it's not. Look,
it's like a little push.
You're not changing his release, but it is a little snappy. It's not as fluid as you'd want. But I don't think that's like the main reason why it's inconsistent. I just think honestly it's because he's not asked to do that up until last year at a level. But I do think likely he's going to take a step up. Like Andrews is still. I watch every single game on all 22. Andrews is still a dog. He had a great season last year. He just choked, but likely too. Like he's going to take a step up. So. There's no excuses for Lamar. Like there's none. Like you've got to get it done. You've got to get it done. And I feel like he will, but he needs to just relax in the playoffs and just don't make dumb mistakes. That's it.
This is very similar to like Peyton Manning's career arc. Because this same conversation was having with Peyton Manning before he didn't win the Super Bowl for the first 7-8 years of his career. I remember, something like that. Like, he kept. I mean, he kept losing to the Patriots. Obviously, their defense. Yeah. I mean, that defense, Patriots. Was something else. So I think he got a bit of a pass for that. But I think with Lamar too. Do you think his game maybe doesn't translate to the playoffs because defenses are able to game plan him more? Maybe they realize that he doesn't go through reads or he doesn't.
I just think it's the bad mistakes, Jalen. I think
it's bad mistakes. You think he's choking under pressure? It's like
just chokes under pressure.
It's tougher competition as well.
But you know what thing is though?
I think these last few times he's choked under pressure, but the times before that it's been all on his defense. His defensive O-line against the Titans when they had the Titans when they let him get that concussion straight up the middle, bro. Like that, I felt bad for Lamar, bro. Straight up the middle,
terrible.
bro.
And everybody was calling that defense good.
And then against the Chargers when he put up almost 600 yards of total offense.
No, that was the Titans.
Oh, that was the Titans. Yeah,
because I was like, bro, and Derrick Henry and all them.
Yeah.
That was when the Titans were like legit. Obviously,
they
had Tannehill QB, but they were a legit team.
But
like when we look at the Chiefs loss, he didn't play well, but like let's not make it the end all be all because that Chiefs team was a great defense, dude.
That defense was a top 5 defense.
Snead and what's his name?
McDuffie.
McDuffie. I brain farted. But yeah, McDuffie. Yeah, those two. That's one of the best performance duos, like just performance-wise in the playoffs that we've really
Force production. That was like a top 5 all-time production.
They let Snead get away with a lot of people don't want to. I ain't gonna lie to you. They let Snead get away with a lot of holding.
Maybe they'll be, but he's 6'2". He's 6'2" with long arms, so sometimes it look like he's holding, but he's not. Like once some long arm DBs get their arms on, it's over with.
They have Chris Jones, so they were using their edge rushers to contain. They weren't even trying to go at Lamar. They were just containing because they.
And that was rookie year. Rookie year.
Nick Bolton too. Nick Bolton was playing out of his mind. I ain't gonna lie. He was
a rough game, man.
Nick Bolton's a solid player.
Yeah, but that playoff stretch, he looked like he was.
They fumbled at the goal line.
At the goal line,
bro.
That was an elite play by Willie Snead. I mean, not Willie Snead.
What you got early?
The Jerry Snead.
That was a good one. That was a good play.
So we had talked about the Ravens. What about the Steelers? How y'all like that? They didn't pick the Slay. They got Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, TJ come back healthy.
They gonna pay TJ. Yep. All that to get. All that to go 9-8.
Like it.
All that to go 9-8.
Aaron Rodgers
will be elite offense.
All that to go 9-8.
I like
defense will be elite. Offense won't be that good.
I just hope that defense stay healthy because they got a lot of older veterans on that team.
Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf?
No, that's fine.
Are you joking me?
Aaron Rodgers might just have like
A-Rod snap back into his.
That's what I'm saying. Last season, he might just leave it all out there. Hey, we know the Steelers defense is going to show up. The Steelers, he's going to have a defense that shows up every week. That's just Steelers culture. They're always going to have a great defense. Aaron Rodgers.
The Jets defense showed up. That ain't the excuse.
But I would say this Steelers defense is a little bit better.
At the end of the year, they did. Yeah. Well, halfway through the season, I'd say they got back.
I thought they gave up at some point, especially when they fired their coach.
Yeah, true. I just think every year the Steelers collapse and then we overreact to how bad or good that they are. Look, they're probably going to be 9-8 again. I wouldn't bet against it. If the Vegas line is 8.5, I'm going over. And the reason why I'll say that is I don't even think it's that good of a trade from the standpoint that they got Jalen Ramsey. I don't think he's cooked, but he's clearly taken a step back. And this isn't even the end of the Rams, Jalen Ramsey. Like this is a guy who He can still cover, but he's just like you can still beat him with quickness now.
He's not a top 5 corner. Yeah, he's nowhere near.
I don't know what they do with Fairmouth though. Like I don't know why they picked up. Yeah, I mean, Jonas Smith is I think Jonas Smith top 10, but I don't understand getting another tight end.
Probably more two tight end sets, probably.
You know? Yeah, exactly. They're gonna need 2 tight end sets because they don't have. They lack the receiving core.
Throw DK out there.
Their running game, I don't trust.
You got an offensive line that's average at best, right? You know, Freiermuth is fine. Like he's not average. He's a little bit above average. He's not great.
Top 15.
But yeah, I'm not probably a little bit more than that, honestly. But the point is that you allow Jonnu Smith to do what he's best at, which is just run short routes and get the ball and yak and just beat guys with their strength. That's what he's gonna do. And I feel like that. Yeah, their offensive line collapsed at the end, but it was a young offensive line. They were okay at the beginning of the season. And I feel like if they can, it's really going to come down to what Rodgers is and what that offensive line is, because we know the defense is good. And honestly, I feel like the pieces that they have around Rodgers aren't terrible. It's not great, but it's fine, I think.
Man, defensively, if those older vets can stay healthy that whole year, man, I ain't gonna lie, that defense is nice. That's second.
To answer Marty's question, yeah, I've heard reports that Ramsey is transitioning to safety.
He used to play that in college though. He played all over.
He played that at Florida State.
Because it was either between him or Slay that was gonna have to transition to safety. Yeah. But Slay can still run though. He can still
run. Yeah.
He still can run.
We don't think that is weird to change. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers in his 20 seasons be a 2 tight end set type of guy. I feel like that ain't really how he play. He's more outside the numbers. Now, of course, he can make all the throws. I don't know about now, but do y'all think he can adjust to a 2 tight end set? You know, a la Tom Brady.
He did that at Green Bay towards the back end when they only had Tay. They was going through the receiver 2 issues.
A little bit.
That's when we saw the emergence of Kraft and what was the other tight end they had? He was doing it, and then I thought
Kraft didn't. When did Kraft get there?
He got there right after he left the Packers, and then
he got it there afterwards. He wasn't there when Kraft. I remember Kraft catching the pass from Aaron Rodgers. There was another tight end there.
I forgot who they tight end was.
But he was good though. He was damn good.
It wasn't Jared Cook. That was before.
No, it wasn't Jared Cook. Who was that? I gotta go look at that up. He was a dog too. He's a good red zone threat.
Gun to my head, I couldn't tell you, but
don't say that, man.
Yeah, they're gonna have to use those.
Richard Rodgers.
Yeah, Richard Rodgers. It was somebody else. It was Richard Rodgers and somebody else.
It was somebody else.
Kraft though. Was it Kraft?
Nah, it wasn't Kraft. It wasn't Kraft. Kraft.
I never had Kraft. He was there after Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, honestly, bro, that offensive game plan. I don't know how they're gonna scheme that up on Sundays. They receiving core is paper thin. You got to use those 2 tight end sets as y'all said.
I don't think it's
I don't know what.
He had Robert Tonyan. That's who it was.
Yeah, yes, Tonyan.
Tonyan.
Richard Rodgers.
I like Tonyan. Yeah. I like Tonyan.
But they was using a lot of 2 tight sets back then. So that's what I was saying. But I think now though, they might not be as big as question mark at receiver as you think, because they still got old boy from Michigan, Wilson.
Yeah.
You talking about the request?
He wasn't used. No, it's Ron Wilson. He wasn't used at all last year for real.
Nah, he didn't get no burn.
Who was the young boy that was small? He was short.
Calvin Austin. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They still got some people.
Yeah, but they gonna have to. I mean, I'm talking about they gonna have to get like starting snaps where they playing damn near every single down. Like they can't just come in and translate. Like
they gonna be important at offense.
Can you trust that? Like, can you really trust that without no true number one? It's hard.
I do think that.
I mean, DK they true number
one. Set, but
they're gonna have to just come in and like.
Doc, you serious? You serious?
Come on now.
Y'all got to inform me about this Steelers O-line. Is it better? Is the O-line better?
You serious?
Bro, before he got injured last year, DK was balling, bro. We're not going to act like he wasn't going
to. Brandon sweat DK ain't shit. He was cooking, Brandon.
He was
mad. And not only that, he was using his size the way he's supposed to. He was bitching people.
He was.
DK's reputation and name doesn't match. Like, it doesn't match his numbers. Like, he does underperform relative to how people speak.
Yeah, dude.
And it's been like that whole career.
We are so weird. I love how we defend the guy that we like. We defend him so hard.
But who we want him to be? I think we want him to be T.O., but he's not that.
No, he'll never.
Why not?
But then also, he's never had a quarterback.
Why not?
Because he can't change direction.
He's never.
Jackson Smith and Jigba went off last year. What are you talking about?
DK can't change direction.
Like why he go off, Brandon?
Bingo.
He started really going off until like DK kind of went away, and then he started picking it up and becoming that.
Even when DK came back, Jackson Smith was still the guy.
But we all
I ain't
know
gonna lie. If you especially not the last season, but the season before that, if we really watch the film on DK, dog, there's a lot of times he was open where he wouldn't get the ball. That's why he was crashing out a lot, dog. Gino was tripping sometimes.
No, there are a lot of times where Gino would throw the ball perfectly to him, right? And the corner wouldn't even affect the ball, and DK would drop it. I've seen a lot of that too. You don't even have to touch the ball for DK to drop the ball. You just got to be there and breathe down his neck.
I mean, I think DK's just
his hand-eye coordination ain't that good. His route running is piss poor. Toe drag slap, he ain't got none. We all know that. Catching traffic, he ain't that good at catching traffic either.
Got great.
Where is he elite at? Other than I'm being real.
So he can't play receiver, Brandon.
Athletic.
So he can't play receiver.
So what?
He can't play receiver, basically.
He can play receiver.
You just named everything he can't do, Brandon. He can't play receiver.
But he can't. He can't do that. Where's he elite at? Where's he elite? Other than athleticism.
He's an elite. Before he got injured, I seen him make great.
Yeah, I saw a lot of signs. I'm with you, F.
He was balling, bro.
He's an elite deep threat, though, B. I'm not saying I agree with you, but
he's not an elite deep threat. He's not Tyreek Hill.
He gets 200-yard games from straight deep balls. Like he's just not consistent. That's why his stats look better than he actually is, because he'll have games where he has 180. And then
so you like a receiver with no consistency?
No, I don't even like DK that much, but I'm just saying if they use him correctly, he can still be very effective. And they're not going to ask him to do much. They're literally a play action team. Like they're just gonna literally run the ball. Use Freiermuth and what's his name in the intermediate, and then give him 5 balls a game.
Well, he got his own team now. He got A-Rod. He ain't got no excuse.
No, he do got it. So when don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. You trying to set him up for failure. You being come on,
bro. He definitely got an excuse.
Come on, bro.
A-Rod is not somebody we just gonna say.
You acting like A-Rod. This 2015, bro. Stop it, bro. Stop it.
A-Rod is also awful, but you can put up stats on all.
He don't play bad. He played bad. Then I'm all with you, Brandon. I'm with you right there, brother.
Bro, if DK don't get 1,200 yards, it's a letdown. If he don't get 1,200 yards, it's a letdown.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But even if he get 1,500 for the next 3 seasons, Jalen, Brandon wouldn't give a fuck.
That's crazy. He get 15 next 2 seasons.
Nah, 15. I'm cool with 15. I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing.
He definitely.
Even if he still ain't good of a route runner as you want him to be, if he get 15 for the next 2 seasons, you still gonna say
he gets 15.
Is it? Whoa! Hold on. Let me ask these
questions. He was on pace for 15.
Let me ask these questions.
They weren't watching these questions.
No. Hold on.
Let me ask these questions. Is he a good route runner? No. Is he good at catching traffic? No.
He's gotten better. No. He's gotten better.
He's not a bad route runner.
Is he good?
He's not bad.
He's just a bad route runner.
I don't think he's bad. I just think he's average.
Okay, I just asked.
I think the expectation of him is what makes you think he's bad.
Is he good at any? I'm talking about good. I'm not talking about average. I'm talking about good. Is he a good route runner? No. Is he good at catch traffic? No. Is his overall hands good? No.
I say his overall hands is good.
Really?
I think he's average in all those things.
I
said lower.
You watch film.
Like the lower good. Like it's not like
bro. If you guard him 1-on-1 and you're just there, he's not going to catch it. If you're close, he's not going to catch it. That's his game, bro.
But like the reason why
who do you think the better wide receiver?
He has to be wide open.
Who do you think the better wide receiver? T. Higgins or DK Metcalf?
Easily. T.
Tyler Boyd or DK Metcalf?
Tyler.
That's when we get disrespectful.
That's
when we get disrespectful. Like Tyler
Boyd. Remember when I said Darnell Movie was a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf?
Hold on, B. How many receivers you think better than DK Metcalf?
Like 30.
Shit, at least about 25. At least I can even
believe
about 25. I can
name
believe about 25.
Can you name them all?
We want to do it. I can at least about 25.
So the receivers
we gonna hurt some feelings now. I can at least name 25.
25.
Did I hear myself correctly though?
Name them all.
Tyler Boyd.
He said Tyler Boyd.
You said Tyler Boyd was better than him?
Nah, I've been an asshole.
I
can't go that far.
You gotta get early hot, bro.
I'm just joking. I can't say that. I can't go that far. I think Mooney better than him though. No cap.
No. Everybody shut up and let him name 25 receivers and be dead ass serious. Put that nigga on the big screen and name 25 receivers.
Now.
Don't cut him off, neither. Just let him kill himself.
Give me. Of course, we got AJ Brown. We got Puka. We got CeeDee Lamb. All the guys. Drake London. Neighbors. Brian Thomas Jr. Shit, I think Marvin Harrison better than him right now. Who else? What is Marvin?
No, don't. Hey, Brandon, stop. Quit stalling.
I got follow the list.
Want
I
to hear that?
think Calvin really better than him.
You listen for any reason to stop doing your list. Keep doing your list.
I think Calvin really better than him. I think Josh Downs better than him. I think who else?
Josh
Who else?
Downs.
Yeah, let him keep going.
Josh Downs is trash. He's a better route runner than him.
Man, they stop. Just go.
I didn't say Downs was trash.
Just go.
I say Downs.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase are better than him. Let's go to the next receiver. Rasheed Rice better than him.
Go ahead.
Who else?
I like Rasheed. But
yeah. Give me Rasheed better than him. I think
Zay Flowers.
Yeah, Zay Flowers and Bateman. Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman.
Yeah, absolutely. You can trust Bateman more than him. Let's be honest.
This is disgusting.
Give me another team. Tyreek Hill.
No, it's your list, nigga. You got 25.
Hill better than him. Jalen Waddle, not Jalen Waddle. Who else?
Jalen Waddle not better than him, though.
But Josh Downs is.
Josh Downs.
Y'all say that because y'all don't know the name like that. Y'all don't watch the
I watched plenty of Josh Downs film.
You don't. No, you don't. Lie, nigga.
You didn't say Malik. Did you say Malik Neighbors?
I absolutely did. Cooper Kupp still better than him.
The Indianapolis coach would drown Josh Downs in the pool to get fucking DK back. Stop what you talking about.
Did you say Terry McLaurin?
Oh yeah, Terry.
Scary Terry.
Who else? Not Debo. He's trash.
CD. You already said.
Yeah, I said CD.
Nico Collins.
Yeah, Nico easily. And what's the boy that hurt his leg?
Tank.
Yeah, Tank's obviously better than him.
Tank Della is better than him.
Where we at? Where we at?
That's a lot.
I don't know. You just name it, niggas. You named some scrub ass niggas.
You asked me to count it. I named a scrub ass nigga. How many guys did I name?
You named a couple scrub ass niggas. You named Rashad Bateman. You named Josh Downs. Like
Rashad Bateman's a scrub. Oh yeah, you don't know.
Rashad not a scrub.
All right, what about the Eagles?
Oh yeah, Devontae.
I say AJ Brown. I say Devontae easily.
Compared to DK Rashad, Downs better. Hey, so F that. You wouldn't take DK over Rashad.
I'm taking DK over Rashad. But
what? No. Be honest. Be honest. If you could trade Rashad and Zay Flowers for DK, would you do it?
No, I'm not doing that.
No.
Oh, you out your
I'm not doing that.
No, you're out your mind, bro. You by yourself. You got your mind.
I keep my two.
Who do you think DK is, bro? Who do you think he is?
He is a little
top 15. I never saw him.
No, he's not.
No, he's
not. No, he's not top 15. No, he's not top 15. No, he is not. I'm sorry. No, he is not.
Just clip this up because when the day come, if he cook, Brandon gonna be a different tone. So we'll see.
But even if he's really good, he's not gonna get 1,500 because this is gonna double cover him all game long. Unless
he's not getting double coverage, bro. He didn't get double coverage last year.
Double cover, but I'm saying they're gonna give safety off.
He also had Smith and Jigga last year.
If he starts off hot, they'll probably do like the safety help, week 4.
Yeah, because who else is gonna beat them? And like that, we know.
Oh yeah, Mike
right
Evans
now.
too. Yeah, Mike Evans definitely better than
Mike Evans better than him. Mike and Chris Godwin better than him.
I do think
I do
think DK Metcalf falls into between the range of like 17 and 25. You can debate some basketball, but
I'm not. Yeah, and that's pretty bad. Being he's the most athletic receiver in the NFL.
He's not the most athletic.
Yes, he is. Who's more athletic than him?
He's never been able to change direction at a high level.
Who's more athletic than him? Who runs a 4.3 at 240 pounds?
Tyreek Hill's more athletic than him.
You're agile. When you're
Is Tyreek Hill 240 pounds, guys?
Yeah.
Oh God, no. Tyreek Hill's not 240.
You're missing something. You're clearly missing something. When you're 235 and you're 6'4", most of the time you're not going to be able to change direction unless you're like Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson could change direction.
Or Julio.
Julio can change direction.
Different level. They're different levels.
Andre Johnson can change direction.
Calvin Johnson.
He's not those guys.
Why? Why are you not Calvin? Why? What's stopping you?
Because not everyone's Calvin Johnson.
Why?
He's not the GOAT. He's one of the Calvin.
Why are you not Julio?
But I see
why are you not at least Vincent Jackson?
I see what he's saying.
Why?
He had the ability to be, but he's not. That's basically
why.
He might be Vincent.
Give it to me.
He might be
Why
Vincent.
He's not Vincent.
He might be Vincent.
Stop that.
He Vincent.
He had 15 yards. Stop that. He never had it. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Vincent.
So why is he not?
Vincent.
Why is he not Mike
Evans? He ain't Demaryius Thomas, but he's Vincent.
Why is he not Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is more fair. Why is he not as good as the route runner as Mike
Evans? Because Mike Evans, I ain't gonna lie, it's really the hands. Mike Evans got
Mike Evans is more slender. Yeah. That's why I feel like Mike Evans doesn't carry as much weight on him. So
Mike Evans weighs about this. Well, not about the same. It's probably a 10-pound difference, but still, like Mike Evans is leaner. He has leaner muscle and all that type of stuff. Like
you know what it is with DK. DK his whole life was just bigger, faster, stronger than anyone. Then he got to the NFL, it caught up to him, and he didn't take the initiative to get better. When you're used to being the biggest, fastest, strongest guy your whole life, and then you go to a grown man league and everyone's there, and then you don't improve yourself to try to find an edge?
Yeah, he never worked on his game.
Yeah, he never improved.
Because even when you see him and AJ Brown, they was very, very similar in the sense. Like AJ Brown might have been better, but it wasn't by that much. But AJ Brown really honed his game to like blast over him.
He did.
DK always
was the straight. That DK is a 17 to 25th range.
So in college, was DK not better than AJ?
They were about the same, bro. They were.
Hell no.
In fact, DK was number one.
No,
you know what the thing
he wasn't. DK was not the number one.
DK was number one.
AJ was always number one all the time. AJ Brown was number one. It was DK.
DK was more potential.
It was AJ Brown. It was AJ Brown, DK, and Elijah.
But let me ask you this: was there a clear gap? Was there a clear gap between them two?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that far.
AJ was always the route runner. AJ always was the route runner. He was always going across the middle.
Was there a clear gap?
DK was just a vertical threat.
You know what
DK was always the vertical threat in college.
In college.
But that's part of what I'm saying. AJB, since the day that he stepped into the league, showed way more quickness and way more agility than DK ever had. And I'm not saying that he didn't work on his game, but I do believe that there's limitations to certain guys, and genetically, some guys just aren't built to be that agile.
Mike, when I watched AJ Brown his entire career because he was on the Titans.
Worked on his game.
He was on the Titans. He was on the Titans. He used to kill the Colts every single year.
He used to cook.
Bro, AJ Brown gets better and better. AJ Brown gets better and better every single season. He's becoming a better route runner now. He knows how. He's an elite deep threat. He knows how to stack. He knows.
He's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he knows how to stack a corner. Like when he gets like even when he gets even like when he burns a corner, right, and they're behind him, he knows how to stack them well to, like, you know what I'm saying, get his body in great position to be able to catch the football. Even if he can't catch the football, it's gonna be a freaking flag because you ran right into the back of AJ Brown. Like, he does all the little things well. Like, he's an elite yards after catch. He's elite catching the traffic. He got elite hands.
Well, AJ Brown was a baseball player. He was an elite baseball player. Yeah. That's why.
Why is DK the same? Like, why has he stayed the same his entire career? Like,
and think with DK,
it doesn't make any sense to not getting any better.
With DK too, even in college, like, he was never great in college. It was always, to me, literally what happened. Again, you go back to that draft, what happened. He wasn't like, a super highly rated wide receiver because of his body and all that potential. They're like, let's take it. And then there was that viral picture of him in the gym working out, and one's like, oh damn, look at him, he's NFL ready, because that, like, he's crazy physique, like the dude's like a freak athlete.
How old is DK now?
It's like 26, 27, yeah, something like that.
I'll give him one more year, and I'm through with him. But if he show out this year, listen what I'm saying. If he finished what he did from last year before he got hurt, and he show out with this year, I'm calling him T.O. I don't care.
He's not T.O.
He's not T.O. He's never be T.O.
If you're going to compare anyone to T.O., just do AJB. He's never going to be T.O. T.O. actually had ability to change direction that was ridiculous for his size. The only
issue is his hands.
The only part, exactly. That was it. Nothing other than T.O. was generational and pretty much not generational, but you know what I'm saying. He was elite in every.
No.
It was never the same.
Generational.
Hey, look. Here's what I do, right? I'm not biased. I hate T.O. I hate T.O. with a passion. But bro, T.O. was generational.
He was crazy.
T.O. was generational. You can't say he wasn't. He's top 5 all time, bro. I don't care where you rank him. But T.O. was generational. I hate T.O., bro. I think he was a prima donna.
You one of them niggas.
He was a cancer to the team and all that stuff like that. He was. He was generational, though. And I'm not gonna deny that. If DK if DK like sits there and like elevates his game, I ain't got nothing to say, bro. I'm gonna applaud you. I'm gonna be happy for you.
So AJ Brown hasn't been a diva lately. You love AJ Brown. He ain't been a diva lately. I can show you numerous diva occasions for the last 3 seasons.
Absolutely, he's been a diva. But guess what? He shows up.
T.O. didn't show up.
He shows up.
T.O.
Why do you not like T.O. but you like AJ Brown?
I'll say this too, though.
It was never to the level of T.O.
I don't know that man personally.
Eagle Nation, damn near not lying though, because if you look at T.O. track record, though, you could say he was a prima donna, but that's only because he wanted the ball. Any great receiver wanted
to make a play.
Did it. Okay, yeah. And then on top of that, all the quarterbacks he played with, Tony Romo, Donovan McNabb, their best years was with the addition of T.O.
Nigga,
and then after T.O. leaves, the production goes down by 1,000 yards.
Receiver.
Tony Romo almost passed 5,000 yards.
Y'all argue me for me to like him?
Oh, speak Tony Romo almost passed 5,000 yards.
You don't like it because of stuff he said and things he said. That's fine, 100%. But I don't think we can say he never showed up. He played in a Super Bowl with basically a broken leg.
Eagle Nation showed up. What are you talking about?
And that's arguably one of the best Super Bowl.
Yo, am I crazy or did I just say T.O. was great?
No, you don't.
I don't have to like him for me to announce.
I get it.
It's only really one to me. It's only really one to me.
Calvin Johnson and Randy. I'm taking Calvin Johnson over T.O.
I'm just taking Jerry. That's the only other person I'm taking.
That's why Eagle Nation put down who's your GOAT because if it's Jerry, then
I ain't taking Megatron over.
But if it's Randy or something,
I just ain't taking Megatron over Randy. Y'all out your mind because everything Calvin used to do, I seen Randy do it years before. I'm sorry. At 30 years old, man.
If Calvin didn't
Calvin was bigger and stronger though.
Bro, if
I don't care about being stronger when Randy doing the same thing, though. I don't care enough about that.
That size shit don't mean nothing when the production on the field.
You know what's so fun to me? Guys like Brandon love that you love Randy Moss, but I can argue because you were allowed to actually watch Randy Moss, but maybe your eyes were just blind to Randy Moss. I can argue he was one of the biggest divas, period.
Oh, he was. Randy Moss was a big diva.
Hey,
wait.
And not only was he a diva, Randy was a. If I don't get, see what T.O. did.
Nigga, stop crying because I don't like a nigga. Stop crying because I like a nigga.
If T.O. don't get a ball, argue that. That's weird. Don't be weird. If T.O. don't get the ball with 3 or 4 plays,
I don't.
If T.O. don't get the ball with 3 or 4 plays, he's going to be aggressive and man, give me the ball. Randy would take a play off if he don't get the ball 3 or 4 plays. Oh, I just want to play this route. I won't run this route this time.
Randy
open last play.
Randy took games off. Randy took games off for the Raiders.
Randy's quarterbacks were better than T.O. quarterbacks. We don't want to have this argument.
Who likes playing for the Raiders? Who?
It don't matter.
Raiders legends don't like playing for the Raiders.
You know who like playing for the Raiders? Brock Bowers cooking for the Raiders.
Wait, can we stop?
That's one season, nigga.
Okay, because there's levels to being a diva, but all these number 1 guys are divas. They all are.
No, they're not. No, they not.
Yeah, they are.
I named 5 all-time greats who never complained.
Larry Fitzgerald wasn't
that.
Larry Marvin.
That you know of.
You don't know.
Yeah, Jerry, Larry, Marvin.
Marvin was literally a mute, bro. He was literally a mute. That nigga never talked. That's why he never got in commercials. Why do you think Marvin never got in commercials? Because he never literally talked.
Wait, hold on. Marvin never got in commercials because of his off-field situation with the shooting.
No, it wasn't because of that. That was swept under the rug.
Exactly.
Like Ray Lewis.
My question is this. Real
niggas know Marvin was a real goon.
Andre. There we go. Andre.
Real niggas know Marvin was a goon. But go ahead.
He was a goon. But look, my question is this. You're telling me if Jerry Rice or Marvin Harrison got 3 or 4 targets in a game that they wouldn't crash out on their QB? You're telling me that would
no, Marvin would never do that in public.
Maybe Isaac Bruce. There you go. They're going to fire Isaac Bruce.
It doesn't matter if public or not. You're still doing it in the locker room.
Torrey Hall would actually better than Isaac Bruce.
No, Marvin would literally just
absolutely.
I don't think Marvin would care. I think if they won, I don't think Marvin would care.
You think you just did a mic drop it now? Everybody knows that nigga. Go ahead.
But as a receiver, you should think that you're open every
Everybody knows Torrey Hall's better than Isaac Bruce.
I just said it, bro. I didn't mic drop. I'm watching the game. I didn't mic drop.
Oh, I'm sorry. You looked off like you was. I don't know. Okay.
No,
the game was on my phone.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
If you're a number 1 receiver, you should believe that you're open every play, and you should believe that you need 10 targets a game. Because if you don't, then you're not going to be that good.
Guys, stop trying to make me like T.O. I'm not going to do it. Listen. He's incredible. T.O. is incredible. I hate to say it, but it is.
You don't like him. That's cool. You don't like him.
I can't lie and say he's not incredible, dude. I just don't like the nigga. It is what it is. Go ahead.
Look, all I'm saying, if Jerry's your GOAT,
Jerry's not my goat. Jerry is not my goat. That nigga's
no,
I'm sorry. That nigga's not my goat. He will never be my goat if you cheat. You never be the joke.
Sticky gloves?
Yeah. Stick him, Mr. Stick him.
Julio never did crash on Matt Ryan. I ain't never seen Julio crash.
No, B. I'm not speaking to you. I'm just talking to Eagle Nation. I'm not saying that it's outlandish for you to have T.O. at 2 because he's that guy. I mean, all those guys are interchangeable, to be honest. But if Jerry is your number 1, that I don't see how you could say Randy isn't better than T.O. as well. And if you want the longevity argument over Calvin and stuff, then that's fine. I mean, T.O. deserves to be in the top 3 conversation, no doubt. But I just, to me, Randy was just better.
Randy number 1 to me, bro. I don't care what nobody said.
T.O. got more yards and he got more yards and receptions. and they played the same amount of games.
That's a fact, but let's not omit them Raider years. That's pretty bad. Like them Raiders used a fucking crazy.
I'm not finna tax or nothing. I'm just looking at their careers totality as a whole.
Bro,
and then wherever you say Randy Moss is good, T.O. is good on the other end of the spectrum because T.O.'s so Randy Moss is a vertical threat. T.O. clears as a possession receiver. You could arguably say they both hands.
Jerry Rice and Randy's hands are better though.
What are you talking about? Randy hands is clearly better.
Randy hands is better.
No, what?
And I love for niggas to say Randy Moss can run a route.
Yeah, the T.O., bro. T.O. might be the most historical great receiver who got bad hands.
No, he doesn't have bad
hands. You said T.O.
only had hands. Yeah, you tripping,
T.O.
bro.
don't have top 15 hands.
That's why I said, bro, y'all just going for them narratives, bro. Like, you got to remember, bro, it was only his first 2-3 years where he struggled with drops. After then,
he also struggled many years with the Cowboys with drop back.
No, he didn't. He was leading the league with receptions. What are you talking about?
And drops too, my boy.
Stop. Where have you seen the GOAT receivers? We talking about the Antonio Browns, the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Marvin Harrises of the world. Where have you seen them niggas be having struggle with drops? It doesn't happen.
A lot of receivers struggle with drops. The greatest tight end, Antonio Gonzalez even said he struggled with drops his first 3 years, and he's the Hall of Fame tight end now.
I saw Marvin.
He was in the Cowboys dropping passes.
I was about to say, what is he talking about? T.O.
was in the Cowboys dropping passes.
Every receiver,
like 9-10 drops.
Hold on, Marvin Harrison was dropping passes early on with the Colts with Peyton Manning too.
No, he was.
He was dropping to
people.
We were watching the game.
No, he was not. He was. That nigga.
I do want to say this about Jerry.
Him and Reggie Wayne always had hands, bro.
I do want to say this about Jerry Rice too, though. We got to understand this about
Jerry. That nigga caught everything, bro. Like them niggas was cut from the same cloth. Except
Marvin had hands in Syracuse with McNabb too, and McNabb threw a rocket. If you know.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this. If you want to say that the T.O. drop issues where people drag it, fine. But I don't understand how you can say that the dude with the best hands of all time, because Jerry Rice was using Stickum.
Larry Fitzgerald actually was best.
Randy Moss,
man, get up out of here. They use these gloves they got now, bro.
I hate when y'all niggas say that. Do you know what Stickum is, bro?
I don't want to hear that, bro.
I can put Stickum on a wall and throw a ball 60 miles an hour, and that Stickum on the wall.
No, it wasn't F-Dot. No, it wasn't F-Dot because first off, these niggas never felt a real NFL football, bro. Them footballs is not like what you just thinking, bro. Like, first off, you still got to catch them motherfuckers, bro. Them balls have to be broke in still to this day. And then I can even argue even back then when they was using that fucking pig skin, bro. That shit was even way more slick, bro. Like, you're not just finna just sit up here and just act like it just made that much of a difference catching that hard ass ball, bro. It don't, bro. If anything, now these gloves today, should be elite.
I can argue too. I can argue 80s and 90s toe to toe, better, like harder throwing football quarterbacks than today game. Like ain't nobody fucking with. If you really know,
with Josh
Marino threw a rocket, Brett Favre threw a rocket, John Elway threw a rocket. Like dog. Today's era, dog. It might be two niggas that throw rockets. Yeah. Niggas used to really Big Ben.
Man, Josh, Patty, who else got a
Patty don't throw.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, nigga, he used to throw some.
Fitzpatrick does not throw harder than John Elway. That's
no, not harder than John Elway. I'm just saying.
No, he throws a hard ball though. Like come on, let's not like.
But hold on. I don't understand that point though because the dude who Jerry Rice was receiving the ball, Steve Young and
Rocket.
Okay, maybe Steve Young, but not Joe Montana. Joe Montana was not throwing a rocket compared to like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Jerry was catching him because he was using illegal stickum. And
I think that's hindsight when you say Steve Young was throwing a rocket. I'm not saying he had a weak arm. He had a great arm, but he's not throwing rockets compared to Marino, Elway, or Mahomes or Allen. That's not.
And that Steve Young throws a harder ball than Patrick Mahomes. I ain't talking about deeper. We talking about a harder pass. Steve Young, dog, especially when he played for Tampa, that's one of the biggest problems about him.
I ain't gonna lie. Taking some heat off the ball is a smarter thing to do as a quarterback. You can't just throw 90 miles an hour to a freaking 10-yard out. Like you can't do that shit every time. That's not smart to do.
But there are some elite quarterbacks who know how to throw a perfect spiral.
Has to be changed up. The trajectory has to be changed up. You can't just throw 90 miles an hour balls all the time. That's not smart.
You can't put the football through my chest neither, Brandon.
What?
You can't put the football through my chest.
You're literally arguing what I'm saying.
Touch on. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, touch on passes matters.
You have to put touch. You can't just put a 90-mile dude. You've
been against me this whole show. I didn't know.
It depends on the situation where the defender is. But we have to understand this about Jerry Rice though and his numbers though. If you realize now, every quarterback record now with passing yards per season, all time, whatever, it's basically quarterbacks that have played since like 2000, right? The game has changed. Every quarterback record is that. For Jerry Rice's numbers, for him to still be at the top when he played in the era of the running back. And no wide receiver still touch it. That is super impressive because that makes no sense. If every quarterback is setting records now and the wide receiver record, who the guys are catching them, is still no one's even close to him.
I'm with you, bro. But the thing is, there's always an asterisk. There's always an asterisk next to his name, bro. Because how many balls would you have dropped had you not used that stickum, bro? Like illegal stickum, mind you. Bro. That's like me giving Drake. That's like me giving Drake the best rapper of all time.
The reason
I can't do it.
The reason why that shit is far-fetched because he has a whole nother career between him and the next nigga close to him. So even if you say, hey, bro, let's drop some of these passes, he's still gonna be way far ahead of people, bro. Like.
I can't give you best hands, bro, if you use a stickum. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hey, question for y'all. Since y'all just automatically say Randy has the best hands, so that makes him the best receiver, right?
Who is this?
Who is this? No,
Eagle Nation.
No, B, I hear you.
Eagle Nation, I don't want to hear from you. You're a liar.
What I lie about early?
No. We're going to stay here. You said that Derek Thomas was not only good at stopping the run, he played middle linebacker sometimes, and he could cover.
This is the nigga?
He could cover.
Yeah, this is the nigga.
He couldn't cover?
You lied about all of that.
Derek Thomas couldn't cover?
All of that. He was awful against the run. He was so awful against the run, they took him out of an AFC championship game in the second half because he couldn't stop the run. Not only that, he was so awful at coverage that he literally crashed out and got kicked out of a game versus Shannon Sharp because he couldn't stop him. Please, brother.
He couldn't stop an all-time tight end. Oh, wow. He couldn't stop somebody for one game.
Wow.
Wow.
No, that's not a bad
wow, he had a bad matchup versus an all-time tight end.
Again,
wow.
His numbers historically catching tight ends, he was awful. You told me he could cover, Eagle Nation. So even a nigga all-time, but he can cover. You said he could cover.
He's an all-time linebacker. I literally said he could also cover.
You lied. You're not
just going to make up words. You're not going to make up words. You're not just going to throw words in my mouth. I literally said he could cover. I said he could cover, right?
That's exactly what you said.
I said he could cover, right? I said he could cover, right?
You told me he was a bad bitch like on Friday. And
so you can just keep repeating words?
You lied to me.
You can keep repeating words and speaking loudly doesn't mean you're correct.
You lied to me, Eagle. You lied. Just admit you lied to me.
Just because you continue to talk doesn't mean you're correct.
Eagle, did you lie or did you not lie?
I did not.
Okay. I can't.
You wanted an answer. I gave you an answer. Now you're upset with the answer.
I can't trust niggas on show his face anyway.
Let's run it back. Eagle Nation. My point to that was it wasn't that Randy is better because of hands. I was just saying that I don't agree that T.O. has better hands because that's what Bama said.
No, I also agree. I don't disagree with that. I am saying because your statement exactly was, I don't see how you argue somebody who's arguably the best hands ever being not the number one receiver. And I understand that you have other things that go with that, but that was one of your talking points. I also say T.O. is one of the greatest rack receivers ever.
I saw that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of course.
Like, so when you're arguing who's the best.
T.O. and Jerry Rice. Greatest rack ever.
Yes, but T.O. is number one in rack. I think it could be arguable, but same thing for hands.
That's fair to say.
I'll give it to T.O. over Jerry. Just because of how big he was and how fast he was. I mean, I'm not trying to.
T.O.'s a better rack receiver than Randy Moss, respectfully, as well.
Yeah, well, that was
not by much.
I think he's the greatest rack receiver of all time, actually.
Randy could run after the catch, but that wasn't what made him great. Obviously, it was.
But that's because he didn't need to because he was scoring. Like he didn't need to.
But hold on. Yeah. This is what I don't like. I don't like what they could do versus what they did. It'd be different if they still had years to add to their career. What they actually did is what we're measuring them by. What Randy Moss is a better deep threat receiver. That is what he's lightning fast. He has great release. He can jump up. Athleticism's out of the woodwork. T.O. is a better physical route running receiver. He can run through you. Almost everything T.O. did, Randy Moss is the opposite spectrum of. I only argue that their numbers are very similar, while Randy had better talent all around him for the majority of his career.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Absolutely.
No, he did not. He did not.
He didn't?
Okay, wait. Better?
T.O. played with
He
Jerry
literally had
Rice,
4
dog.
seasons with Chris Carter.
How long he had Jerry Rice? How long he had Jerry Rice?
Come on.
Chris Carter played for Randy Moss. Chris Carter had Randy Moss had Chris Carter.
Yeah, for 5.
Then he had Tom Brady.
Then he
Wes Welker.
Whoa. So now
he had talent all around him.
So now we're taxing him for having the great talent that Randy had. Now we're taxing him for having talent around him.
I mean,
That's literally what I just said. He always had talent around him.
He had to play for the Raiders.
Yeah,
he deserved that talent around him.
And what did he do when he had the Raiders?
That is the most bottom.
People thought he quit the sport when he played for the Raiders.
He had 1,000 yards. How is he terrible? But anyway,
he had 1,000 yards one season. What he had the other season? Because he played 2 seasons with them, just in case you forgot.
That's
nasty.
That's nasty.
Oh, that's my point.
Nasty, Brandon.
He had to go to the Patriots for Tom Brady to revise him. I'm not disrespecting him, but for the fact that people just see highlights and then say that he did this, that he's automatically the greatest, and then
don't do that.
You just told me T.O.'s a top 5 receiver. Top 5.
What?
They are literally Randy Moss and T.O. are hand in hand.
They are
hand in hand.
Nobody said they weren't.
Yeah, they are.
You said when you talked Randy Moss, you just said he was number 1. You said T.O.'s top 5.
I said to me, dude. I'm not saying T.O.'s number 5.
It's what he likes.
I'm saying he's literally in that range. I don't care who you are. Even if you're like the biggest casual and you don't like T.O., you still have to put him in your top 5. That's what I was saying.
I'm not saying
T.O.'s number 3 or well, yeah, he's probably number 3 to me.
And wait, to be fair too,
Marcellus Wiley says this all the time. When people say top 5, they don't mean number 1 through 4. They mean 5. When you see Randy Moss, the first thing they always say is he's 1 or 2.
They say he's the 5th best receiver in the league.
No,
they say top 5. They say you're anywhere in that range.
I think we have to understand that with wide receivers, the gap is really small between 1 and 5, 1 and 4, 3. You know what I mean? Like it's really
like
small.
the MJ versus LeBron debate.
It's right there.
I will never.
It's all interchangeable.
With LeBron debate. I'm not going to argue with somebody that has LeBron over MJ. I have MJ over LeBron. I'm not going to argue.
But do y'all hear yourselves? Y'all are arguing for number 1 and 2. When y'all are arguing Randy Moss, it's 1 and 5, 1 and 4, 1 and 3. That's the difference. And I'm trying to tell you that they are literally the same receiver, just on opposite spectrums for everything. One is better at hands. One is better at route running. They all have literally the same things and close and damn near everything, except for one is more physical, one is better hands.
And one's faster.
Again, one breaks tackles. Like that's what I'm saying. One can play through the press and get around at the press. One literally can only run around the press. He can't break through the press.
By the way, though, because you could say that T.O. has better routes than Randy, but let's not act like that Randy couldn't separate, and he wasn't going down the middle.
He separated because of his speed, not because of his route running. If you watch Randy Moss's tape, it wasn't because.
Niggas always are casuals when they say Randy could run around.
I've watched Randy Moss's tape. I've argued this many times.
Don't fucking act like that. He couldn't run around. Stop that.
I didn't say he couldn't run. I didn't say he couldn't run routes. We're talking to the level of T.O.
I see him on the Vikings in his second season in the league. Get some premium optimal space.
The same conversation where y'all said T.O. had bad hands.
Don't do that. Don't do that like that.
We're having the same conversation where y'all just said T.O. had bad hands in comparison to Randy Moss. Yes,
I never
bad
said he had
hands.
bad hands. I never said he had bad hands.
That y'all literally just said he didn't have. Earlier said he was top 15.
Am I early?
Exactly the same.
You're arguing the same points. I'm arguing every single one of y'all right now. Do you not realize that?
You're not. Bama's on your side, but no,
Bama's the only one who hasn't been really speaking right now. I've been arguing every single one of y'all simultaneously.
I just think the top 5. I think the top 5 all-time wide receivers are fluid. Like I think all those top 5 guys you can interchange.
I think 2 through 5 is interchangeable. I think nobody.
No, 3 through 5 probably is interchangeable.
Eagle, I get what you're saying, but this is my counter to it. It's the exact same thing when we talk about Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson. Everybody in the world would say Justin Jefferson's a better route runner, but when we're talking about who gets open at what rate,
it's pretty much the same. And so who cares who's a better route?
But why? Well, even when that conversation, why don't we ever preference things like Jamar Chase has T. Higgins on the other side? He's had Joe Burrow his whole career. Why don't we ever preference those things? It makes it easier for him to do these things.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to go off his.
I didn't say I did. Now, if we argue Adam Thielen versus T. Higgins with Joe Burrow, who are you siding with?
T. Higgins was better than Adam Thielen. I mean, when Jefferson was there this first year, T. Higgins was better than Thielen, but Thielen was still a very capable receiver. It's not like
I'm never downplaying. I'm not saying it's clear one-sided. That's what you're misconstruing. I am also adding the context, just like everybody else, that life makes a lot things easier when the team around you is better. We do the same thing for every single person we like, and when we don't like. When we don't like someone and say that they're not great, then we say, hey, this is the situation they're in. If this person was in this situation, what would they do? When we say that this player is great, we also have to put in the context that on the opposite side of him, he has this. He has this person throwing him the ball.
Your argument.
I don't like doing that because
your argument is opposite because
guys
Jefferson
have like
had
extra talent around him, then we're taking away what they do as a player. I go off of what their abilities are. It's like their ability to route run, their rack. I go off their hands because that's what makes you a good receiver. I don't go off their speed. I go off their physical traits, like route running, hands, all those type of skills.
Which is all accurate. When you're now at the top, when you're nitpicking now at the very top of the pieces, when you've already said all these players can do all these very elite things, which they're all very capable of, you have to start nitpicking other things because all of them have all of these things.
No, you don't. You go off
why wouldn't you?
Better than what?
Why? How do I measure someone's hands better than the other one?
Nigga, did AJ Brown and DK Metcalf get drafted together, or were they a one-on-one draft?
I don't argue that DK Metcalf's anywhere close to that.
No, I'm saying when these guys get drafted, they get drafted by them. The microscope is put on them, not what they have around them. So I do the same thing. I'm not
yes, when they're drafted. However, when they're in the league and you've had time to build, add more things to your repertoire, it gets a lot easier when you have less or you have more around you versus less. When you get the ball more often than you have to do when you have to compete for 6 targets because you have somebody else there. It's life gets a whole lot different when you have talent versus when you have no talent. And those people like a Calvin Johnson who had Matthew Stafford but not much talent around him still stands out because of all the unique different things he can do. Larry Fitzgerald, when he had many different receivers versus when he had no receivers, still stands out. T.O., no matter what team he goes to, still stands out. Randy Moss, even with the talent he had, still stands out. But you can point out when the times that they've had all these different people with them, what did they do? How much easier was life with them? And when they didn't have that, how much harder was life for them? When T.O. or when Randy Moss didn't have a great quarterback? Go ahead.
Okay, so who do you think was better this year, Jamar Chase or Jeff? Because you said the argument that Jeff had T. Higgins with him, but this year T. Higgins was hurt for a lot of the season, and Jefferson had Hawkinson, Addison, a good run game.
Don't do that because he got
bracketed
more.
I'm just saying, like,
he got bracketed more, bro. Don't act like that. Justin Jefferson got bracketed a lot more than Jamar Chase did. If we were doing that,
well, I'm not sure about that, but
I'm absolutely sure about that. I watched the film, bro. I'm absolutely sure about that. You got bracketed a lot more, especially in the red zone.
That's fine. Okay, Eagle, just answer my question though.
I would still say Jefferson's better.
Okay, well, it's fine, whatever. But yeah, I'm not. Look, I just think the only thing that I kind of disagree with is when you say that Randy's teams he had more talent on his teams. I'm not disputing that he had more talent, but I'm not gonna lie, low key is marginal. I understand that he was part of that 2007 team, right? But Randy made that team generational. Like, but before Randy
not downplaying that at all. Completely understand that.
Okay, yeah. So that's just my get back. But
I'm not saying I'm not saying he rode the coattails. He did. I'm basically saying he's KD to the Warriors. Teams may have already been great. He took them to another level. Completely understand that. But I am still saying because those teams were already great, that team they wouldn't have been 16-0 without Randy. No, that team still would have made a playoff berth without Randy.
Of course,
like
but they're not an all-time
offensive team without.
Yes, and Randy, that's what I'm saying. That's why Randy is still very great. He definitely takes them to those positions. What I'm saying is, you look at most of those teams T.O. played for, and most of those quarterbacks, none of y'all care for, and any of these all-time lists. Most of these quarterbacks.
He played with Steve Young. He played with Donovan McNabb, who was a great quarterback.
He's great. I give you Steve Young. I don't downplay Steve Young. Steve Young was towards the end of his career. He had about
McNabb
2 good years with Steve Young.
Niggas act like
we're not going to sit here and say these all-time greats. Donovan McNabb's in there.
No, he's not. He's not. No, he's not all-time great.
I didn't say he was all-time.
I'm an Eagles fan. I'm an Eagles fan.
He's not all-time.
What I just said in these all-time.
Great to me. I'm saying that Donovan McNabb was a top 5 quarterback, like for most of his career.
For some years.
No, it's for most of his career.
But when we
arguable,
people were scared of Donovan McNabb, bro. He was. He absolutely was.
Again, I'm an Eagles fan. I understand how great Donovan McNabb is. Trust me, I followed his career. I also understand his flaws.
This man had Tony
I also
Romo,
understand when you have Andy Reid, what that does for you. It made Alex Smith look like a very serviceable quarterback.
Niggas bring up
I understand that.
Niggas bring up the Andy Reid shit. But when he wasn't winning without Patrick Mahomes, niggas wasn't giving Andy Reid that type of respect. They weren't.
People were giving him a lot of. I'm an Eagles fan. What are you talking about?
But we didn't give him great until he started winning those rings with Patrick Mahomes.
This is true.
They literally said Andy Reid just couldn't win the big game. They never said he wasn't great.
No, niggas was not giving Andy Reid this type of respect until he started winning with Patrick Mahomes.
Everyone said Andy Reid was a great quarterback or a great coach. He just could not win the big game. That was literally the narrative.
Yeah, but hold on. Andy Reid was in nobody's top 5, top 10 conversation before Patrick.
Because people talk about rings.
Exactly.
That's the conversation. But that's not the conversation of X's and O's and what you're good at. Everyone already said this is same. It's literally the same thing with Shanahan right now. Shanahan wins a ring. People say he's a very great coach. He's an all-time great coach. But it's literally the difference between winning a ring and not winning a ring.
People were also saying to Andy Reid that his coaching style X and O wasn't going to translate to winning.
No, people kept saying the reason why Andy Reid kept losing was because either Andy Reid would get tricked out and outcoached in the biggest of games, or Donovan McNabb would choke. That was literally the narrative for the Philadelphia Eagles.
No doubt.
Look, wait, Jalen, real quick. I'm not like when we talk about not translating to winning or not, I don't, because it doesn't matter within the context of his argument. He's arguing that Donovan McNabb looked better because Andy Reid was his coach. And there's no doubt, every single season that Andy Reid was the head coach, he elevated the offensive unit. Every single season. Did he win in the playoffs? Nah. But that had a lot to do with the teams that he had, bro. Like, he had Donovan, who we know was good, but he wasn't great. And
Brian Westbrook.
Who did he have, Eagle? Who did Andy Reid have when he got fired? Was it like, I don't even know.
You talking about the quarterbacks at the time?
Yeah, was it just Donovan? Like, I don't.
It was Donovan and Mike Vick.
Yeah, Michael Vick had the best season of his career under Andy Reid.
But exactly, and that's because Andy Reid got him to sit in the pocket and made everything easier for him. And I'm not saying like Michael Vick obviously gets credit for being a more traditional pocket passer that year. That's what separated him. But that's also because Andy Reid unlocked him. So when we talk about winning rings in Andy Reid's Eagles tenure, I don't like that because I watched a lot of games when the Cowboys got absolutely blasted by the Eagles because we just couldn't stop their offense because
that's kind of what I'm saying is like these players are built up because of what's around them. And then when we have the fortunate to see these players still either in their prime or at least long enough out even of their prime without these great things around them, what do they look like? And the same things that they have, the route running ability, speed, all of those things, somehow is different in these aspects. You see it right now with Tay Adams, who's out of his prime, but looks like a completely different receiver in a lot of aspects because he doesn't have the things around him to be able to do what he needs to do. That's what I'm saying. Randy Moss in the prime of his career. He got hurt with the Raiders for one of those years, so it's a little nasty. Another one of those years, yes, he did put up 1,000, but it did not look anywhere close to Minnesota to the New England. He gets a very good, obviously the GOAT, Tom Brady, in that situation with a very royal run organization and offense at that time. Goes right back to being great.
I hear you. So, but based on that logic, though, based on like how much help they have in the system, and all that, which I do think is important. Which all these things are very important. 100%, I agree. So then, based on that, I think you got to elevate a guy like Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz could be a top 3 wide receiver based on if
Larry Fitz to me is number 4.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. He's top 5. He's my top 5.
But like, if
I literally have Jerry. I literally have Jerry, T.O., Randy, Larry, Calvin. That's my 5.
That's my 5 too. I'm with you.
But like
different order. That's my
5. Yeah. I just think when you talk about that Raiders team, yeah, he didn't look good. But like, do you think T.O. was better than him on that Raiders team? Like, any receiver, I don't care. Like they were garbage. They had
I'm not saying numbers. T.O. wouldn't have been T.O.'s self either. What I'm saying is T.O. in his prime went to many different quarterbacks, different systems, different situations, and always looked like the person who was the best player on the field. No matter what team he was on, no matter again, I said it before, he made Jeff Garcia a household name. He made Tony Romo look more serviceable than Tony Romo was at that time.
Yeah, and
he made these players look so much better. While Tom Brady was already looked at as a very elite quarterback before he went there, and Tom went to another level with Randy Moss, not downplaying none of that. He made people. Randall? I do. I'm not saying that's why these guys are the elites. They, no matter who they're with, they do. But in the prime of his career, people already, which he's literally vouched and said, he took plays off. T.O. never did that. T.O. never did that.
So can we agree that Larry did the most with the least out of any wide receiver in history?
Who did? Larry?
I think Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
He did the most.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say that.
For sure.
Yeah, and Larry's got skill set, don't get me wrong, but when you talk about those, I mean, Jerry's whatever, but when you talk about Randy, when you talk about T.O., Larry's skill set isn't better than those guys.
He's not the freak athlete they are.
Larry is Jerry Rice Larry is Jerry Rice with more verticality.
Larry had better hands than Randy and T.O.
Larry Fitzgerald has the best hands to me. That's why when people say Randy Moss has the best hands, I think it's because they only look at contested catching versus overall catching. And Larry Fitzgerald can not only contested catch.
Hands wasn't better than Chris Carter's though.
That's why I say when people argue these things, to me, it's not really arguable until you get to the newer generation on who's a better rack receiver than T.O. all time. Unless you're just saying longevity, Jerry Rice. But per game, I think it's T.O. inarguable. And now people like Jamar Chase are starting to catch up to that. I think there's an argument when it comes to best hands for Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, Chris Carter, those kind of receivers. That's why it just blows my mind when people automatically say Randy Moss is better than T.O. And they don't understand how there's an argument for that.
Yeah, there's an argument to go both ways. I'm not mad at that. I get you. You cooking.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, we're splitting hairs here. So, but yeah, it's about what
I just wanted to come up because you literally said, when you asked me who my goal was, and I said Jerry, you were like, you don't understand how I can have Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson not over T.O. That is why.
Okay. I respect
Nothing wrong with that. I agree, bro. I mean, T.O., I look at T.O. It's an Alabama bias.
But let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. If Calvin plays 4 or 5 more years, bro, like the conversations would be ridiculous. Like you'd have to put him up there. Like the only
I would put him
is longevity. That's it. If he like, you cannot argue to me honestly that anyone had a better skill set.
He's my GOAT. Calvin's my GOAT.
He was freaking unstoppable, and like, Matt Stafford was really good at that point, but like he didn't have it up here like he does now. And there's a lot of plays where a lot of that had to do with their O-line sucking, but like he had nowhere to go but just chuck that shit up to Calvin, and Calvin would just come down.
But that also benefits Calvin in that aspect because Calvin's skill set, one is verticality, jumping, great hands, a litany of other things. But having a gunslinger willing to say, fuck it, Calvin's down there somewhere, throw it up, where most other quarterbacks won't try and do that because they're scared of incompletion percentage, interception rate, things like that. When you get a Brett Favre, a Matthew Stafford, who's just like, hey, let's give him a shot. That helps your receivers.
Yeah, he's
I
not.
see
He's
Eagle
not
Nation
breaking
real
the
big
record
on
at the
just
time without Matt Stafford
context.
chucking the ball. So.
Really,
Yeah, I love context. Like,
yeah,
because it does matter. It does
context
matter
do matter.
because
Context do matter.
because
A
if,
lot,
if
bro.
context didn't matter, Amon-Ra would be like top 4.
Context
I
is why.
ain't a lot. I'm a lot higher on Amon-Ra than a lot of people, bro.
I am
Is
too.
he
I am
top
too.
40?
Why?
I don't know why
We
people
made a
do that.
receiving list, and he wasn't even in our top 10. I didn't like that.
Okay, that was nasty, but that was
On Trent,
nasty.
on Trent, I'm pretty sure he's in my top 10.
okay.
We
But
did
Bam,
this.
is he top 4 though?
I like context and consistency though, because
Top
I don't like
7.
when people add context to
That's
certain
fine.
players and refuse to add it to others.
Right.
This is why me and Trent have had the argument for like Jalen Hurts, where he fits in, where we've had context for like Joe Burrow and those players.
Right.
I don't like when people say, well, Jalen Hurts is in this situation, he does this. Joe Burrow's in this situation, he does this. But then no one else, when we start taking away from players that people don't like, we don't add the context for these players in these situations. I try and add context to all these same situations of what's around you, what your ability is, what you do, and what you produce. Not just what I've seen you do at the combine or in drills, what I've actually seen you do on the field in the time given, not what you possibly could produce.
Mm-hmm.
Context is why Dan Marino better than Joe Montana. That's how
I wouldn't say that.
Joe Montana himself says Marino's better. So that's all I gotta say. People say Joe Montana himself said Dan Marino was better than all of them.
Okay,
yes, but that could be a humble thing. That doesn't necessarily mean
he just understands. Well, what
I want to say this all
again.
So number one, wait. Number one,
Michael Jordan doesn't think he's the GOAT. He said old time players were better than him.
No. He said we can't compare eras.
You go ahead.
He said he's not the GOAT. He said he doesn't like comparing eras
because like I love Dan Marino, rocket arm. He could throw on the run, but the dude was a freaking statue, man. Let's just be 100% honest. At least Joe could get out the pocket when he needed. And
we're not going to act like Dan Marino didn't choke in some of those playoff games.
Dan Marino didn't need to get out.
He choked his ass off. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
hold on.
We're going to put context on that.
What were the defense ranks for Dan Marino's team versus Joe Montana's teams?
We're not taking that away. Obviously, Joe Montana had the better team, but it's not just who has the better team. Again, what people don't understand for Lamar Jackson can lose all these playoff games he's in. However, if he's still performing at the same level he is in the regular season, people don't consider him a playoff joker at that point. They literally would just say his teams weren't great. However, when your production dips from what you were doing in the regular season, even against elite defenses in the regular season to when you get to the postseason, then you look like a playoff choker because then it looks like a moment got to you or a scheme got to you and you were out-schemed in a game for your skill set. That happened to Dan Marino a lot of the times, where games where he actually played against a better defense in that same regular season, he would get into the postseason, and some of those games, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't produce. And it genuinely looks like the moment's just too big for you at this time.
And also, can we take into context the difference between the NFC and the AFC back then, dude? Like, understood the Niners had some of the best teams ever, but they were going up against Dallas in the NFC Championship game, who was just as good. And Joe Montana in those games was the one who was bringing them to the W.
But that's the thing. It wasn't
making the plays.
He was winning. He was winning games 15-12 too. The problem is his defense was able to hold the other team. Dan Marino never had that luxury. He had to score 25 plus for them to win. Joe Montana was winning games, only scoring 12 points, 15 points.
So Dan Marino didn't make bad decisions.
No, without a doubt. But every quarterback in NFL history makes bad decisions in the playoffs. This is the problem with winning and losing. When you win the game, people forget the mistakes you made. It just gets forgotten because you won the game.
Okay, so Jalen, tell me the mistakes that Joe Montana had in the playoffs then.
Let's bring it up. Let's look at that. Joe Montana. Look it up. Joe Montana. We're going to talk about interceptions. It's going to be.
Look, you could just look at his playoff stat. Like, I'm not trying to say that Dan Marino didn't get shafted by the team that he had around him, but I mean that's just the way it goes. I mean, if we're just like, it's the same thing. Context matters, but if winning doesn't matter at all, then I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson's like top 5.
That's what I'm saying. Like winning's the biggest thing to me.
Again, the context never really matters. Context never matters.
No. Again, context matters of it, but especially when it comes to quarterbacks and coaches, winning is the biggest thing. Then after that is why you didn't win or why you did win. When it comes to Dan Marino, his rookie season, phenomenal, great.
Hey,
he's doing great things.
No.
He continues to produce. But then from those years on, he gets to the playoffs. And when you add those contexts, he starts to struggle for a lot of the things that he shouldn't be struggling, that he wasn't struggling in the regular season with. That's where it seems where a team is specifically garnering or going against your skill set and focusing on you for high leverage games. Same thing. He struggled.
So I got Joe Montana.
Also,
19, hold on. Let's bring up the game. Joe Montana, NFC divisional round, 1987 against the Giants, 8 for 15, 0 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 98 yards. Bad games. Another NFC divisional against Minnesota, 16 for 27. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. 178 yards. Cool. You know, nothing crazy. Another game, 18 for 34, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 233 yards against Chicago. Like, he's had rough games too, but they're able to pull it out.
Was that 85 though?
Let me see, 85. The 85 one was the Chicago game. Yeah, the Chicago game was 85.
Okay, that was one of the best defenses ever. So,
like, 100%, great defense, no doubt.
That was a crazy, bro. That defense was so crazy.
Historical.
Yeah, no doubt. 85 minutes, no doubt.
Jalen, I would also like to point out that you basically just brought up 3 games, and Joe Montana's played, 28, 26, 30 games in the playoffs?
I mean, we can bring up more. we just go 5.
But yeah, I knew it was somewhere in the 20s, but what I'm saying is, yes, by all means, Joe Montana's had better stuff around him. Yes, he's had the luxury of certain teams when he's played bad being able to carry him. What Dan Marino's had is played worse multiple times, and when he's playing worse, a lot of things that he's doing worse isn't because of the talent. It's simply because of him bad decision making, inability to move around in the pocket as freely as because it's not even just a statue. Like Tom Brady's a statue, but Tom Brady could work. He had footwork in the pocket, so he could literally move and constantly keep that circle around him, his pocket mobile, even if it's literally just playing tackle to tackle. Dan Marino could not do that. Dan Marino struggled with that a lot of the time.
Sure, his footwork wasn't
this
those
is the
guys.
Thing, though. If you're gonna stand on business with that, then like when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl in 2006, he had 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
Yeah, it wasn't his best run, without a doubt. It wasn't a great run by Peyton Manning. He wasn't denying that. He also had to go up against that Super Bowl. It was raining. It was a Bears defense. That team was built
well
on
in that
defense.
Super Bowl. He had 2 touchdowns. He
got lucky with that one Reggie Wayne when it was wide open. The Bears missed the coverage. Yeah, like it was rating too. It wasn't, to me, he didn't play great that playoff run. He didn't. That run to me, Bob Sanders was the MVP. If you remember, Bob Sanders was that guy for the Colts team and really kind of holding on that defense. He should have won MVP. Shout out Peyton Manning, still got it. But even Joe Montana's first Super Bowl, a lot of quarterbacks don't have the luxury to go 14 for 22, 157 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interception, win a game. They just don't have that luxury.
Fair. But then if you go and look at the end of his career when he won the next 2, he had 11 touchdowns to 0 picks.
He was cooking.
1,000 yards.
Yeah, he was cooking.
Touchdown to 1 pick.
So that was a great run.
Had some of the best runs ever.
No doubt,
that's
100%.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
but Dan Marino had great playoff games too.
Yeah,
he had great playoff games too. Okay. He didn't just get to the Super Bowl as much as Joe Montana because his team wasn't as good.
And also his team and him collapsed in the regular season multiple years that got them out of it.
Part too.
Also part of it that you're not talking about either.
I think Dan Marino was carrying a lot of mediocre teams with his offense.
That's why he's a top all-time quarterback. But again, this is what I was saying, like with the Randy Moss thing. It's like when you're comparing the all-time greats, you have to nitpick the smallest of things. So when you're nitpicking these, you have a very good point in saying his team isn't as good as Joe Montana. But in the same aspect, when those moments happen, if you're producing, if you're doing things, and we can see that it's just the team around you that's letting you down, then there's never the narrative of you're a playoff choker. It is you just don't have help. However, when you're doing things out of character for what got you to these points, then it looks like you don't know what to do and you're just trying anything.
I hear what you're saying. When you notice that noticeable dip, without a doubt. But again, I just think winning covers that up so much. Even to me, Brady's first 3 rings, none of them were super impressive. Brady's first 3,
his Rams ring, both of them weren't impressive.
That's
he
something.
He wasn't an elite quarterback.
But when people say that it's a total clear and Mahomes could never get there and guys can never get there, it's like, all right, bro, like his first 3 rings, the majority of the games he didn't play well in the defense.
Game manager.
Now, but we also have to keep it consistent and say he has the best Super Bowl performance out of any player ever against the Eagles, and they lost because their defense could not defend that team.
But the reason I think someone like Pat Mahomes can never get there is unless Andy Reid retires in the middle of Pat Mahomes' career or Pat Mahomes goes to a different team, because Brady has the narrative not only of I beat you head-to-head numerous times, but I went to a different situation and still won in my first year. Like, that narrative alone is going to carry him even without just the numbers.
But that narrative without context is crazy because Casey's offensive line was cooked. Casey's offensive line was dead that game. You know what I mean?
While we all know that, that is still not the point when it comes to these GOAT conversations. 1v1, they're going to say Brady beat him twice.
No, but we know what happened, though. We know the situation that game.
I know you don't agree with
That's where context kind of comes in.
That's what I'm saying. That's the narrative for the GOAT conversation. Brady beat him twice. Brady has 7. Brady beat him with a separate team. He beat him with the Patriots and the Bucks. Like, that's going to be the narrative. And unless Pat Mahomes has Andy Reid retire and then another situation, that's unfortunately what it's going to be.
Peyton Manning has a winning record against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Just want to throw that out there.
And that's something that I cannot understand is how people don't act like that Tom Brady did not handpick the roster he went to. The only thing
completely
guys bring up is, the Bucks never won before that. Man, the Bucks were good. Jameis Winston just was throwing 30.
Bruce Irving's literally said, "Did you see what we did with that quarterback? What do you think?" He did that in the season cap interview after Jameis Winston just went 30 for 30. And they literally asked him, what do you think is going to happen next season if you get a different quarterback in here? And he verbatim says that. Like, that, for a coach to say that at the end of the season, we just did it with this quarterback, what do you think we're going to do?
That Bucks team is a top 3 team since 2000.
Forget the, I don't know about that, but they were really good, though, Chad. I understand
they were really good.
Like, they're better than what people think. And that, forget the offense.
I'm going to say, you forget the 2000 Ravens is in that, the Patriots is in that, this Eagles team's in this.
Hold on, the 2000 Ravens, again, that defense, all-time great, but hit that
offense
but that defense is so all-time great that it carries that offense. That's what I'm saying.
I get it too, but like every other team, I can name 5 teams where the defense wasn't obviously not as great as those Ravens defenses, but were great. And their offensive quarterback play was also great. So, like, 2 great things can beat one all-time and having the worst quarterback situation for a Super Bowl winning team ever.
Well, again, while I hear you completely for like the Eagles this year, again, big Eagles fan. Eagles defense, very top, offense, middle of the pack kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But because that defense for the Ravens is so elite, they're holding people to under 10 points, under 7 points. For that simple thing. Hell, some of those Steelers teams with Troy Polamalu, how elite those defenses were, and Big Ben's offense, even though he wasn't great, it's kind of middle of the pack. Those teams, because their defense is so elite and above pasture, that while normally I lead to both sides being the deciding factor, it's kind of like the Luka Doncic argument of things of your offense is so on another tier that for the mass majority, when you're asking just the general consensus, even if I wouldn't agree, the general consensus is going to say the 2000 Ravens is better than a team that has an elite offense and elite defense because their defense is an historic defense.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I would just value
Tom still has probably about 3 where he low key, was the man on it. So like that's where to me it's like I just don't like the narrative surrounding it, but yeah, Tom is still the GOAT for sure. But I do think that year that Mahomes won with Smith-Schuster, and obviously he still had Kelsey, but that year in the playoffs, like he was.
You talking about the first year for the potential three-peat?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Like that. Well, when they won though with Juju.
Yeah, their second ring.
Yes. That year he was the guy, and he showed that he was the guy with just Travis Kelsey basically, and he was doing.
Yeah, they had no elite offensive weapon other than Travis Kelsey. No run game. Offensive line was kind of middle of the package.
And even that, if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble that ball, they're losing that game. So it's like that's where
so many things. Oh, trust me, I've argued this many of times with people. Again, try and downplay Jalen Hurts because people love to say Saquon Barkley is the reason why, and Jalen Hurts has always benefited from having a great run game. when I try and tell people that 2022 season, no one thinks of Miles Sanders an elite running back. Everyone thinks that we have a great offensive line, but we've always had mobile quarterbacks that help boost your offensive line. And I've seen many of sacks this year alone be attributed to no one on my offensive line, but because of Jalen holding the ball. But if he's not a mobile quarterback moving around, then that's attributed to the offensive line. So that kind of gets to downplay the offensive. And I'm not trying to downplay my offensive line. Obviously, is one of the elite offensive lines. But when people downplay Jalen Hurts and forget that he had literally an all-pro year where he was literally slinging the ball and a multiple. Like, he wasn't slinging the ball to the level of Joe Burrow and those
they
guys.
underrate how good he was that year, though, and I agree.
Yes, I've never said Jalen Hurts is top 2, top 3. I've never said no craziness like that. But there is a very good case that he's top 5 to 7, like right now.
He's winning that. And,
for sure.
Yeah,
I don't even think you can really, like, right now, honestly. I mean, you can argue it, but bro, like, we putting skill set wise and then production and accomplishments, bro. I think Jalen Hurts has to be 5 to 7.
It's just a debate between Jaden Daniels and Hurts for me, and it just comes down to I need to see
I still have Matthew Stafford there.
Oh, I just think Stafford was good last year, don't get me wrong, but I just see him dipping a little bit. I'm not saying that he's going to fall off, but I just feel like from the year before last year and this year, I do feel like there was a dip. Now, their offense as a whole, I don't think was as good. They were injured a lot of the season, so that could be part of it. But, yeah, those 3 guys, I did forget him. But also the thing, too, about the playoff stuff, it's like, I know you watched that Green Bay game, and the whole narrative around Jalen Hurts struggling in the playoffs was, he's got Devontae Smith, he's got Gardner, he's got AJB. When I'm going to be honest, especially Smith and AJB, they did not perform up to the standards that they should have in the Packers game. And
people literally said AJ Brown coming back off his hamstring doesn't look like himself. AJ Brown even said that himself. It wasn't until the Rams game that he even started to somewhat feel like himself. And in the Commanders game, he literally said, I feel great again.
Right. And then also, they've got all pros on the offensive line. But Mekhi Becton was getting eaten up by Jared Verse. Remember, Jared Verse literally threw him down with one arm. So it's like, yeah, you can have a elite offensive line with 4 guys, but if one guy is getting barreled in 1 second, then you're going to get sacked. It doesn't matter about the other guys. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with the Jalen Hurts stuff. It is nasty, but
literally, to me, and that's only because Jaden Daniels is a 1-year person right now. I never, even the receivers, running backs, because you're a 1 year in, I never rank you. I give you at least 2 years so I can actually understand when people have more tape on you, what you are.
Show me again.
Show me. Show me again for sure. He got.
But Jaden Daniels, even like Brian Thomas, like in Jacksonville, like no matter what you are, even though you look phenomenal, Malik Neighbors looks phenomenal. I need to see 1 more year before I start putting you, especially in these top 5 conversations, because you literally could be the outlier that year. And then if you do it again, yes, Jaden Daniels to me would be better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
To me, again, if Matthew Stafford is what he's been, he's better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have anybody above them right now.
There's nobody else you can argue with me right now.
Like, obviously, the top 4 is literally there. That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then, to me, it's literally those 2 are the arguables, and then Jalen Hurts.
Golf Baker? Like, no.
People say the Dak Prescott thing, and it blows my mind that Dak Prescott somehow is better when the narrative around Jalen Hurts is what he has around him. That people forget Dak had 7 All-Pros. Yeah, and he really had 9, but 2 of them were special teamers. Like,
I'm not trying to hear the Jared Goff and Baker shit. I'm not because Jared Goff at this point is gonna I understand their team was injured, but let's not make excuses for Jared Goff playing like shit in that game that they lost against Washington. Like, he lost in that game because he had 2 crucial turnovers in the middle of that game that got them down 14. So, yeah, I especially with Jared Goff. Baker's out.
I'm putting CJ over Jared Goff. CJ better than Jared Goff.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, yeah.
In the second half of the season, he started to pick it up, especially in that playoff game against the Chargers. We started to kind of see him get back alive again. I mean, that O-line was one of the worst I've ever seen. O-line was terrible, and he still was producing. Like CJ, I still hold CJ pretty high. I know, that
was an interesting
me too.
game.
What throws me off
for the first
with the narratives of these teams is with a CJ Stroud, right? When a team gets down, like Jalen Hurts, again, prime example, the team doesn't ask him to do much throughout the game. However, when they get in those crunch situations, they rely on this quarterback to win them the game. right? A Jimmy G quarterback, those style of quarterbacks, when you're just the person game managing the game, they don't try, because when they get down, they pray to God you're not the person who has to win them the game, because they know that's typically not in their favor. When you have a CJ Stroud, Jalen Daniels, obviously the top four, yes, the top four they ask throughout the period of the game, because you are that offense. They center around you. It's also why they pay you the way they do. You are that. But when it comes down to that crunch time, we put the ball in your hands, go win us this game. And I can tell you as an Eagles fan, there's about 2 games off the top of my head in all of Jalen Hurts' career when he's been asked in those situations at the end of games to do it, and he's failed. Other than that, and he's been in those situations a lot, especially the 2023 season with that defense being terrible, he was able to do that consecutively. Whether it was a last 5-minute drive, icing a game when you're just up a possession, up 6 points, 3 points, or coming back to win it overtime versus Josh Allen, he's able to do that. But when you have, like I said, those Jimmy G people that they always try and say Jalen Hurts is just a product of the Brock Purdy's, they don't want you to do, because when Brock Purdy's in those situations, he doesn't produce 9 times out of 10. He struggles versus an elite defense with the Ravens. He only puts up 3 against the Chiefs when you know you need a touchdown to stop Patrick Mahomes from winning this goddamn game. Like,
and he's just not
those are the
better
things.
as a player. Brock Purdy is not better than Jalen Hurts as a player.
He's not.
Like besides maybe accuracy in the pocket, there's nothing else that he's better at. Like, and even decision making. I mean, I feel like Brock Purdy's gotten overrated. I feel like, but that's a story for another day. But yeah,
but it throws me, like when Young was making the argument that Kyler Murray's better than Jalen Hurts, and what has Kyler Murray ever done better? I don't just care about what you did in college and combine. I don't care what you can do in drills. I care what you do on the field, giving your moments. There's 17 games in the regular season. If you're lucky, there's 4 in the postseason. You get 13, 20 years, whatever it is. What do you do when you're on this field with these players? I don't care. Yes, obviously we can add the context of who's around you. Your situations are better. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has been in a better situation than Kyler Murray. But more times than not, I've watched Kyler Murray lose games because of Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
being trash.
That's true.
That's what throws me off.
I'm a Kyler guy, but that is the hard truth with Kyler, man.
I mean,
like Kyler's asked to do a little more in a lot of these games. Yes, he has had a great running game, not to the level of Saquon Barkley, and a little bit lesser than a Miles Sanders Eagles-led team or DeAndre Swift Eagles-led team. But again, when those moments are happening for Kyler Murray and he doesn't have a Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins, when those situations are more than likely happening, Kyler Murray has struggled in those moments a lot of times.
He definitely has.
And that's why I don't hear these conversations. When you add those contexts, people would just go, well, Jalen struggled. People thought he couldn't throw. Again, that's the same. Like, people thought Jaden Daniels couldn't stay healthy, and now look, a whole year looking great. Obviously, it needs longer, but
it's so funny because as soon as Jalen Hurts doesn't have good stats, then it's like, oh, he's got AJB and Devontae Smith, and it's like, yeah, if they're open and he's missing them, hold them accountable. It's like the Packers game; they really just weren't open.
Yes,
like, I was looking to be like, oh,
the second half of that Rams game, Jalen Hurts actually struggled there. He got hurt on that one Jared Verse sack where it took away his mobility, but his accuracy actually also struggled in that game. His decision making and processing speed.
In that game too. So
yes,
it was snowing too, man. So it's also like the timing was there. Like I'm not like gonna put that game.
And I'm not saying he's not.
Again, when you look at that game, his processing speed in that game as a quarterback going through his reads, he also did struggle with. And I also put that on knowing that your offensive line is elite. You may think you have more time than you do because you're just in the pocket. Your first read isn't there, or you misjudge the coverage. So now instead of throwing it away, trying to make something happen, he just sits there and then eventually realizes there is nothing. So he stays on it too long. That's a him problem. But again, those are games where I can objectively say that's Jalen Hurts versus this is bad scheming. 2023. There is no great route combinations. We're doing a wide receiver screen every 4 plays. That is bad coaching. And now it's also on him because he doesn't have the ability to audible at the line because he doesn't know the offense that well. He's not that far developed, he couldn't do the blitz pickup, as Jason Kelce said. Jason Kelce had to do the blitz pickups because Jalen Hurts didn't know how to do it, and Jason Kelce's always done it. So now Jalen Hurts had to learn how to do that at the NFL level. Those are faults of him, which I can attest to. But when people just try and say that he's bad because he didn't make A.J. Brown a 2,000-yard receiver, he didn't make Devontae Smith, who's a very good receiver, a 1,500-yard receiver, he's not throwing 4,500 yards. No one ever attests to the fact that he is literally second in total touchdowns behind Josh Allen.
And I just don't understand why would they throw the ball that much when they have Saquon a good offensive line? It just doesn't make any sense. It's just people trying to knock him for no reason.
B literally said it earlier when he was like, yes, it's not always great to throw a 100 mile per hour fastball just because you have a cannon. Why would I always throw the ball as hard as possible just because I can?
Man,
why would I sling the ball 7,000 times if I can hand the ball off? If as a quarterback, I can run myself.
We didn't
That's football.
For no reason. We didn't go
yes. Hell, Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, we paid them. They're very serviceable running backs. Why would we not utilize them with a line that y'all seen Jeff Saturday literally say this before when Peyton Manning was just in a frenzy of throwing the ball? Run the ball. Run the ball. Your offensive line loves to run the ball. Yeah. Why would we not give them the chance to finally go back at these defenders who've been trying to attack them the whole time?
Thanks.
You win in the trenches. That's what the Eagles have built off of. It's what most of these teams build themselves off of. Why would I not keep the people who make everything happen happy? Let them run at these defenders.
Yep. And also, can I see Arch actually play well before we start talking about where he's going to get drafted?
Please. Exactly.
Nah, I feel you, but Arch got that shit on him.
No. He's got all the talent.
He got that name. He has the flexibility, the athleticism.
He's 6'4". He could be Andrew Luck, bro. If
he could be.
If it all works out, he better than Joe Burrow. He better.
Now you and I both know Andrew Luck, when he was in college, he performed at such a ridiculous level. But before Andrew Luck, even though he was great in high school, I'm not trying to downplay it, but no one thought Andrew Luck would turn into that in college until he did it. People are talking like he's already that. Arch Manning's already that.
He's not.
That's what I'm saying. People already have the hype of that.
Yeah.
Just because of his name and his athleticism. Because people think he's going to throw like Peyton, Eli, and think he's going to run like Josh Allen.
Nah, I ain't going to lie, though. He already got that. He already got the throwing motion. Like, bro, he more athletic.
Bama. I'm not saying that he's not skilled. He is skilled. But what I'm saying is like, how are we basing his performance off of LSU Tech when he was mid and that other team when he was mid and saying that he's going to be the Heisman favorite and he's going to go number one? I'm not even sure if he's going to go in the draft next year. Like, he's literally hasn't played a real down of college football yet. And as
I hear y'all, but
he played in 2 ways.
We don't even know if he has it between the ears yet. We know he has the physical ability, possibly. We do not know if he actually has the wherewithal in that brain. And Bama, as you've said before, because I've been watching these podcasts for years, for quarterbacks, most of that is mental. Mm-hmm. We don't even know if he has that yet. Yeah. And people are already, you just said it, he has the possibility of Andrew Luck, and we don't even know if he can process yet.
Look, if he was Andrew Luck,
he got some swag.
He damn sure has
swag to him.
He damn sure has aura.
I do
that boy was in the trenches in St. Louis, and that boy looked comfortable. He looked comfortable. You feel me? I'm like,
if he was
I don't know, bro.
If he was Andrew Luck, he would have beaten out that bum ass Quinn Ewers last year. If he was Andrew.
Nah, it was more politics because you gotta remember Quinn Ewers was one of the more highly touted quarterbacks of this past decade too, as well.
And leave my quarterback. Remember,
he came out at 17 years old. Y'all forget about that. Quinn Ewers came out early. Like he forewent his senior year of high school to enroll at Ohio State. So I could see why, like, you just not just for politics standpoint, bro. Let him stay. Let him
5-6 million. Let him have his last year, man.
Exactly. Yeah, but all right, y'all. Next week, man, D-Mar should be back. You know, he also a teacher too, man. So he be having to do other stuff. But Uncle be back, the motherfucker, put y'all back on some of this. Yeah, big Unc, the biggest, because y'all not listening, bro. But all right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week, man. I appreciate y'all boys for always pulling up. Eagle Nation, you know you always welcome to pull up too, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir. Shout out Eagle.
Peace.